everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today in this video we are going to learn about SQL command specifically for DQL commands. In previous video we saw about what does DDL command mean, and under that what are the different things we have, and we detailedly saw each and every single examples on create, drop, truncate, alter and rename. All of those things we saw in the previous video. If you haven't watched that yet, go and watch that right now. I will leave a link in the description below and up in the cards. Now let's quickly jump into our today's session, which is called as DQL. DQL is nothing but data query language, which typically means, just imagine that there is a database that is present in the server, and how are we going to fetch the data? For that we use DQL, data query language. It is used to fetch the data from the database. Okay, for that we have a command which is called as select. Select is the only command that comes under DQL. Okay, so what happens is, in the database, when we use this select command, what it does is, in the database there will be 10 different tables, but when we are selecting a table, it will fetch that table alone. It would fetch the temporary table, it will replicate all the results and have it as a temporary table where we can view and use that data. Okay, so that is what this select command does. Now let me quickly take you through the syntax and a real-time example on that. Now let me quickly jump into MySQL Workbench. Previously, when you watched the video, you could have come across, we have created the database named Amazon DB, and that is what we are going to use right now. And now under that Amazon, we have two different tables which we have already created in the previous video. One is customers and another one is product. Okay, so now let me take you through the syntax of select. So select, you have to add that command select there, and then followed by star. Star is nothing but all the columns that are present in the table will be listed. Okay, for that only we are using star. So all the columns we need, so we are putting it as star. From which table we want, that table name we have to put here. Okay, so this is the syntax followed by semicolon. So now we are going to see the live example. So what we have to do is, what data is available in the product table. So all the data that is available in the product table needs to be fetched. Okay, that is the example we are going to see. So now let's type select, and since we need all the columns, we are going with star and followed by from, and now comes the table name which is product, followed by semicolon. So this is what we need. Now I will execute it. Can you see? Now we have successfully fetched all the details that is present in our table called product. Okay, we successfully learned how to use select command. Under this itself, we can retrieve multiple columns. Okay, instead of fetching all the columns, let's say we want only few columns. Let's say we want only the product name, category and price. That column alone you need. So that also can be done in SQL command. For that, the syntax is going to be same select and followed by the column name, the column which you want, column 1, column 2. You can go with n number of columns that you wish. So you have to put column 1, comma, next column 2, and if you want to go for the third column, comma, column 3. In case you only need 2 columns, then column 1, comma, column 2. After that, there should be no comma or anything. You have to leave it like that, and then followed by from, and then comes the table name. This is the syntax for fetching multiple only few columns from the table. Okay, now let's have a live example. So now what we are going to do is, what are the product name, category and price of all products. So product is the table name. Under that we need specific these three columns alone: product name, category and price. So now let's query it. Select, first comes product name, comma, category, comma, price. So price is the last column, so I will not put any comma after that. At the last column it should be blank and then followed by from. Now comes the table name, which is product, and at the end it is semicolon. So now let's see how it does. Can you see? Only these three columns which we have specified here is getting pulled from the table product. So this is how you will use select command to fetch only few columns that we need. This is all about select. And under select itself, I have told you, right? Under DQL, data query language, we have only one command which is called as select. Correct? Under select, we have different clauses, like the way that we are going to filter the data. We have different ways in which we can apply conditions or apply filtering, all of those things. So we are going to see what are the clause that comes with select, and using select command we can have different clause. We are going to see one by one, and the first thing which we already saw was from, right? From we have already saw. So from is nothing but from which table we are going to fetch the data. From just indicates that from which specific table we are going to fetch the data. That is the reason we have the clause called from. Okay. Next comes, we are going to see var. Okay. We already saw from right now. The next thing which we are going to see is from. It is used to filter the data based on a condition. Okay, var, you can understand that var is like filtering a data based on whatever the condition that we want to have it. So that is the reason we use var clause. Okay, now let me take you through the syntax of var. Okay, so for var, the syntax is going to be, let me pull the entire data. Okay, so now the syntax of var is going to be select, and then since we need all the column, we are getting the star from table, the same, and next comes var, and then we have to add the condition and followed by semicolon. This is the syntax for var. Okay, now let me take you through a real-time example. So here, which product has price less than or equal to 5,000? So in this case, our table name is going to be product. In that, they want only the product which has the price less than 5,000. Okay, for that we are going to add the var condition. So first let's select star from, the table name is product, and then we are going to add the var condition. What they want? They want the price which is less than 5,000. So price is less than or equal to 5,000. So this will fetch only the products, or it will fetch all the rows which has the price which is less than 5,000. Okay, so we have around 11 rows in this product column. Once we apply this filter, let's see how many rows is getting retrieved. Okay, so now I'll run this. can you see only 4 rows got reflected, because only 4 rows the price is less than 5,000. Only for 4 products the price is less than or equal to 5,000. That's the reason that is getting filtered out. Now you understood, right, how we can use where condition. If you have any doubts, drop it in the comment section and I will help you out to clarify your doubts. Next, what we are going to see is, in the next example, we want all the products that do not have stock equal to 5. Okay, first let me show the entire table so that you will understand. So now what we want in our next example, what we are going to see is, this is a different way of filtering. Okay, so under the product table, all the stocks that are listed is not equal to 5 is what we have to. Basically, whichever the stock has 5, that needs to be removed. Okay, so that is what we are going to see. We don't want to see any stock which has 5. Okay, other things only we are going to see. That is what is needed. So now again, select star from product. Now we don't want 5, right? So what should be filtered? We have to filter the column by stock now. So stock is not equal to. So for that, we have to have this not equal to 5. This is a symbol this is an operator which is called as not equal to. So now if I run this query, can you see whatever the stocks that is not equal to 5 is getting listed. This is how we will use where condition. This is one more example. And the third example is, we have to filter it based on the category, electronics category. Okay, so first let's select the table, select from product. First let's see what are the we wanted to filter all the products which belongs to the category electronics. So can you see, these are the electronics that we have. So it is going to filter only the rows where the category is equal to electronics. That is the condition that we have. Okay, for that, how we have to do? Again, select star from product. Under where, what we have to do? Do we have to filter it by product name? No, the product name is different, right? Each and everything is different, so we cannot filter it by product name. So we have to filter it by category. That is what they said, category. So now let me type category. And what they wanted to filter only electronics category. So now inside single quotes, I'll put electronics. If in case if I don't add single quotes, it will throw an error. Okay, always see error has thrown unknown column electronics, likewise. So always whenever we are adding a character varchar, we always have to specify it within the single quotes. Only then the SQL will understand. Okay, so now after adding the single quotes, it will run correctly. See, it had run correctly. 5 rows got affected. So there are 5 rows where the category matches, where the category is equal to electronics. Okay, so this is how we will filter based on where condition. So until now what we saw is, we will fetch all the rows, all the columns. We will fetch all the columns. But let's say we wanted to fetch only specific columns. After that we wanted to add the where condition. How can we do that? For that, the syntax is going to be, this is going to filter only the specific columns using where condition. Okay, for that again we have to, the syntax is going to be select column 1 comma column 2. Whatever the column that you want, you can put it column 1 comma column 2, column 3. Likewise, you can put n number of columns, followed by from table name, and then comes the where condition. So now what is the example that they have given? Which products, now let's see the example. Which products have product rating greater than or equal to 4? So product rating should be greater than or equal to 4, and we have to fetch these columns. Product name, we have to fetch product name, category, and product rating. These are the 3 columns that we have to fetch. Okay, so now let's write the query select, and then we have to type the column names, right? So I will put the column names here: product name comma category comma product rating. These are the columns that I want, followed by what is the table name? Product. And what should be the where condition? We have to filter the product rating column, which is greater than or equal to 4. So it is product rating greater than or equal to 4. This is the syntax. Okay, this is the example. Now if I run it, can you see all the products? It had listed only these 3 columns: product name, category, and product rating. And then in the product rating, whatever the products which are greater than or equal to 4 alone got listed. So this is how we will use where condition to filter a single column, also a multiple columns, using where condition. Now let's quickly jump on to the next one. Next, what we are going to see is group by. Okay, group by is used to combine the data. Now we are going to see group by. Group by is nothing but we are going to combine the rows which has the same values. Basically, it combines rows with same values. Okay, so for example, we wanted to group all the categories that comes under electronics. Likewise, we will be grouping the rows which has the same value. Okay, so that is what this group by means. And also in group by we have the aggregate function. Okay, so how are we going to group it together? How are we going to combine the data together? Either it could be we have to add all the sum of it, like we have to add the total of total price, or we have to count how many categories that are there. Likewise, we have to um, group it based on different functions, right? That is called as aggregate functions. Okay, so in group by we also have aggregate function. Aggregate function, which is like sum, count, minimum, maximum, and then average. So these are the different aggregate functions that we have. So either we can add a total, we can sum it, we can count the columns, we can count the categories that it has. We can have the minimum value, we can have the maximum value, we can take the average. All of these things are called as aggregate function. So basically what a group by means is, we will combine all the rows which has the same values by adding the total number of products that we have, the number of stocks that are left, the minimum amount that we have, the maximum price that we have, and also we can take the average of it, right? So this is all about group by. When I take you through the live example, you will understand more in detail. So let's quickly jump on to the live example. So first I'll show the entire table that we have. So now, as I told you, we are going to use group by to combine the data. Okay. For that, the syntax is going to be, first we are going to select, followed by the column 1. Okay. Followed by the column name that we are going to fetch. And next comes, we have to use the aggregate function. There will be 2 columns. One column would be default, like the product name, and another one we are going to group it. Let's say we are going to group it with total stocks. Okay, so we are going to group the total stocks, and then this is alias. This is nothing but I'll show you why we have as, and we are going to give a new column name. The reason that we're going to give, I'll let you know in a minute. But as is the alias, which means after as, whatever that comes, this tells you the new column name. Okay, because we are aggregating a function. Let's say we are making a total of stocks. Okay, so the total of stocks, the column name will be empty. So that's the reason we are giving the new column name there. Okay, when I run it in a live example, it will make more sense, but understand this. After that comes the table name, from table name, and then group by, and what should be the column name. So this is how the syntax is going to be. Okay, so now let's filter the table based on category and the total stocks that is available. We have to filter it using category and how many stocks that are available under each category. This is the thing which we are going to do right now. Okay, so for that, as per syntax, I'm going, first I have given the select, and next comes the column 1. So column 1, based on category only, we are going to see the total stocks, right? So our column name is going to be category, and then the next column, what we have to do, the total of stock. So that means we have to add everything, right? So for that, we will be using the sum function. The sum aggregate function is what we are going to use. Total of stock, which means adding everything. So we are going to give the aggregate function as sum, followed by what is the column name, sum of stock is what they want. So stock, sum of stock, and then comes the table name, product. After that, what we are going to add, group by. What we are going to group by, we are going to group by the category. So here it is, category. So always the column 1, whatever the column 1 we are giving, that we have to give under the group by. Okay, so now this is the entire table that we have. Under that, we are going to group everything based on the category, and we are going to add all the stocks under the category. Okay, so that's the reason select, first column name is category, and then we are going to get the total of stock. So the aggregate function is sum, and inside the bracket, the column name, the second column name. and then comes from the table name is product, and we are going to group it by category. So all the categories we have 1, 2, 3, we have total 3 categories. So based on these 3 categories, we are going to we have a total of 3 categories, right? So it is going to group by the categories. Okay, so now when I run it, can you see the 3 category alone has came, and it has fetched the total stocks under each category. So electronics have 30 stocks, fashion has 10 stocks, book has 10 stocks, like that. And the reason that we give as is to give the table name. Okay, default it takes as some stock, or sometimes it would be empty also. The table column name will be empty. Okay, so whenever we are using these different conditions like where, group by, all these things, it will not make any changes to the table that is available in the database. Okay, it will not make any changes in the table, but the way that we are filtering out, the way that we are fetching the details is what we can see right now. So that's the reason always when you see the table remains the same, the table data, everything remains the same, but the way that we are filtering it out is only different. That's the reason here it shows only two, because we are only filtering category and stock. And that to the stock, some stock is the default. It would take whatever that we have mentioned here, or the column name will be empty. Okay, so that's the reason we always have to name the column to specify what that column specifically does. Okay, so for that, to name the column, we use as is alias, and we are going to give the new table name, column name, new column. For this column alone, we are renaming it, and the name which we are going to give is total stock. Total stock. This is the name which we are going to give. Now when I run it, can you see it got renamed to total stock. This is just the way that we are fetching the detail. While fetching the detail, we are naming the column as total stock. That's it. It doesn't make any changes to the existing table. It just gives the information that we are filtering it out, and for filtering data alone, it will name it as total stock. You understood, right? So this is all about aggregate function. This is how we will do it with one columns. Okay, this is how we will use group by with one column. Now let's say we wanted to group by multiple columns. Okay, let's see how we can do that. We wanted to filter it based on multiple columns. In those case, let's see how the syntax will look like. The syntax will remain the same. Select column 1, comma, next the aggregate function column 2, as alias the new column name. And then if you want to add the second aggregation, you can do that as well. So aggregate function column 3 as, and then for that also we can give the new column name from table name. And group by, we are since we are going to group two multiple columns, we are putting column 1 comma column 2. Okay, this is the syntax for multiple columns, where we are going to group by multiple columns. Okay, so now what we have to do is, the scenario is, what is the total stock and total number of products in each category. So under the product table, again we are going to group it by category, but this time we want two things. One is total stock, and another one is total number of products. Total number of products that is under each category, that is needed. Okay, so now let's write the code. Select, first what we need, category. total stock. So sum of stock. Then total number of products is what they need. Let me show the table first. So they need the sum of the stock and then total number of products. So total number of products means they want the count of each product. So that's the reason we use the function called count, and then what count of the product is what they want. So product name, count of product name. Okay. So this is what they need. So we have added column 1, aggregate function, column 2, aggregate function, column 3. Also we have added. Now let's add the new name for this. So as the new name is going to be total stock, and here the new name is going to be number of products. Okay, the count of product is what we need, so number of products. And now from what table we are doing, fetching this from product, and then we have to group by. What we are going to group by, we are going to do it based on the category, that's the column 1, and then we wanted to group it by stocks as well. So I'll put stock followed by semicolon. Okay, now when I run it, let's see how many rows we are getting. Can you able to see now? So the total stock, the sum of stock got renamed to total stock, and the count of product name is renamed to number of products. So here earlier we saw only 3 rows got reflected, right? But here 2 rows is getting, total 7 rows is getting reflected. So the categories also got tagged, the total number of category and total number of products, and we also have a null character. So under electronics itself, we are going to group by what? Category as well as stocks, right? So can you see these two electronics have 10, 5 and 5. So this and this are grouping it as 1 and telling electronics 10, because we are grouping by stock as well. So this is 10, and the another one, this and this, is tag fetching as the second one, because here the stock is 10, correct? So there it is mentioning it as 20, and in this case it is totally null. So that's the reason you have a separate thing called null. Okay, so if there is any null value, that also it will fetch, that details also it will be fetching. So that's the reason the electronics first is 10 and total number of products is 2, and here also total number of product is 2, and one null value was there under stock, so that product is 1. So that's the reason you have 3 electronics. So when you aggregate the function with multiple columns, this is how it will look like. It will group both category as well as stocks. Together it will categorize, and that's the reason you have under electronic category itself you have 3 instances, because it is grouping by both category as well as stocks. Okay, and if there is any null value, that also will be captured. In this case it is just one null value, it has one row has null, one null, one product has one null under electronics, so that's the reason. In fashion, we have two nulls. Two products are under null under fashion. So let's see that as well, so you will understand. So under fashion, can you see? Under fashion, two values are null. Two products are null. That's the reason fashion, one fashion is there and mentioned as two products are under null, and in another category, group category, here it is taking as fashion and together it is 10. Can you see? Fashion 10, two products, and fashion null, there also two products are null. That's the reason 2. And here also there are two products which has five stocks each, so the total is 10. That is how this is. Okay, so this is how you will use group by using single column or multiple columns. Okay, so that is all about group by. Now let's see about having clause. This is also used to filter the results after group by function. After grouping by, the filter will get added. For that only we will be using having. So the main difference between where and having is having will filter the data after the group by. That is, it will filter the data after aggregation. Okay, after the aggregation happens, only then the filter will happen. Okay, that is about having. But about where, always the filter will happen before the aggregation. Okay, so the main difference between where and having is, for where, there also it will filter the data based on the condition, but it will filter the data before the aggregation. Okay, before this aggregation function called sum, count, average, these things are there, no? Before the aggregate function, the filter will happen for where. But for having, it will always filter the data after group by. Okay, and always the filter will happen after the aggregation. So that's the reason we use having to filter the data after the aggregation has happened. When I show a live example, you will understand more clearly. Let's quickly jump on to SQL Workbench. Now, first let's see the having syntax. Okay, so first comes select column 1, same as group by. Okay, and this is all this same as group by. Everything will remain the same for group by. Can you see? So select column 1 comma aggregate function column 2 as the new column name, from table name, group by column 1. All these things are same as group by, but at the end we will also add the clause having condition. So after the group by has happened, later on we will add the condition. Okay, that's the reason we have having. So filtering the data after the aggregate function. Okay, so this is the syntax for having. Let me quickly tell you how this works. So first, it will select the under the product, under this table, right? It will select the details. First, what it will do, again, we are here we are going to see which category has total stock which is greater than 10. Okay, so we are going to say the same thing as we saw earlier. First category, then total stock is what we need. So again, the same sum stock then we will give the new name as total stock, and now we will tell the table name, that is product, and then comes the group by function. We are going to group it by category only, so the same category is what we will add. Okay, so let me run this right now quickly to show you how it lists. So as we saw earlier, it is grouping by category, right? So electronics 30, fashion 10, and group is 10. So now after this group by has happened, after aggregation has happened, we are again going to add the filtering by using having. So what is the condition? The total stock should be greater than 10. Okay, so now here we should mention the same thing, whatever we have mentioned here, no, aggregate function, column name, the same thing we have to mention here so that it will understand this is the aggregate function. It is greater than 10. Okay, greater than 10 is what they need. So it would filter the category, and it will it until now the group by has happened. Until now the group by has happened. The electronics, fashion, book, everything is grouped and grouped together and added as total stock. After this result is being fetched, again the filter will happen. Having filter will happen. In having, what we said, the sum stock. Always we have to mention the aggregate function and the column name. So sum stock is greater than 10. Whichever the total stock is greater than 10, that alone will get displayed. Okay, now if I run this, can you see only one is getting listed? Electronics alone is 30, others are 10, correct? Always we need greater than 10, so that's the reason only one data is getting filtered out. So this is how we will use having function after grouping the data. Okay, so this is all about having. And we can also use both var and having together. I told you, right, var will filter the data before the aggregation and having will filter the data after the aggregation. So we will see that syntax as well. So here select column 1 aggregate function column 2 as new column name from table name. So since var happens before, we are adding here var should be done before grouping it, correct? So that's the reason before group by we have added the var condition, and next we will group by the column name we have added, and after that only, after group by only, we need to filter the data, right? For that we have having. So after group by only we have having, and before group by is what we have var condition. So now let's quickly see a real example on it. So now what we have to do is, I'll first show you the entire table. So now what we have to do is, among the different products that we have, first we have to filter it with whichever the product rating is greater than or equal to 4. The product rating should be greater than or equal to 4. Okay, that is the first filter that we have to do. After that, which category has total stocks less than or equal to 15? Which category has total stock less than or equal to 15? This is first we are going to group it by category, and then we are going to take the total score which is less than or equal to 50. Okay, this is where the having function will come, less than or equal to 15 for total stocks, and the first filtering would be var condition. Okay, for this first filtering we will do it before the group by. Okay, so select, and then the column names that we are going to give. Column that they need is category, comma, and then what we need, total sum. So total of stock is what they need. So sum stock, we will give it name as total stock from product. We are going to add the first filtering. Before aggregation, we are going to add the filtering. So for that, we are going to use var, and then comes the condition. So product rating should be greater than or equal to 4. Okay. Then we are going to group it with categories. So now group by category, and then we are going to filter it. For that, how we are going to filter it, the total stock should be less than or equal to 15. So having, we are not supposed to add total stock, right? If we add total stock, it will throw an error. It will not understand. So always we have to add the aggregate function column name while adding under having. Okay, so sum, and then stock should be less than or equal to 15. Okay, so this is what will happen. First, it will select the data from the table. Okay, first it's going to select the data from the table. So I'll quickly show you how this var condition will be applied. This is the entire table, right? If we select category and stock from product, and then when we apply this var condition, let's see how the table will look like. Now it has now the entire table has 11 rows. If we do only this, let's see how many columns are getting listed. See, 7 columns are getting listed, which is greater than or equal to 4. 7 columns are getting listed. After that, now after var condition only, we are now going to group it. Okay, group it by category. So when I run with only with group by category, now let's see, can you see, after grouping by category, it has came like this: electronics 20, fashion 5, book 2. Now what we have to do, after using this result only, we are going to again add a filter where it says total stock, sum of stock should be less than or equal to 15. So now when we run this all together, can you see, the end result is going to be only 2 rows will get fetched. One is fashion, book, which has less number of stocks, less than 15 stocks. Okay, so this is how the filtering will happen. Okay, I hope you're clear. If you have any doubts, please drop a comment in the comment box. I will help you out. You don't have to worry. I have given all these details in the description box below. You can click the free materials link, and there you will get the syntax, the examples, and what are the things that we are seeing here, right? All these things will be mentioned in that material. So there you can go and view these things. So now we have completed the having clause. Now let's quickly jump on to the next one, which is order by. Okay, order by is nothing but sorting the data. Okay, it is just to sort the data like ascending or descending. The way that we have to sort the data, that is what is called as order by. let's quickly jump on to the example and the syntax. So the order by syntax is going to be select star from table name. Next comes order by, and one next what column that we have to sort, that column name, either it is ascending or descending. So that is what it means. If in case you have not mentioned ascending or descending, default it will take it as ascending. Okay, if in case you have just mentioned column name, after that you didn't specify ascending or descending, by default it will automatically take it as ascending. Okay, so now let's jump on to the scenario. So here show products from, we are going to list the price from highest to lowest. Okay, for that first we are going to select star from product, and then now what we need, order by, we are going to sort the table, sort order by, what is the column name which we are going to sort? By price. So price, it should be highest to lowest, so it is descending order. So product order by, it should be price descending. So now when we run this, can you see the price is coming from highest to lowest. So lowest is 1000 and the highest is 17,000. So we have sorted the data from highest price to the lowest price. So this is about sorting a table. And default, if in case you have not specified ascending or descending, then I'll show you how it lists. Can you see? We haven't mentioned the ascending or descending. Directly it's sorted, as I told you, it's default, it will sort by ascending. So ascending wise it had sorted 1000 and the last one is 17,000. Okay, now the next thing which we are going to see is how we can use order by sorting multiple columns. Okay, we are going to use this order by to sort multiple columns. For that, the syntax is going to be select star from table name, order by, and then the column name, ascending or descending, followed by the next column which you wanted to sort, ascending or descending. So what happens is, first it will sort this column in descending order, and after this is updated in descending order, from that result it would sort the another column based on ascending order. Okay, likewise it happens. I'll show in a real-time example so you'll understand. In this example, we need to sort the product by category in ascending and then by price in descending order. First we have to sort the category by ascending. So from product order by, and then category is ascending. Okay, so when I run this alone, see how it is getting listed. Can you see? The category is getting sorted, books first and then comes electronics, then comes fashion. But here the price is getting mismatched. Here 1000, 4000, here it says second 1000 and then 15,000 immediately it comes, 10,000 comes, another 17,000 it comes, here also 6,000, 2,000, 10,000, 7,000. Likewise, it is getting mismatched. The category is sorted correctly, but price is not sorted ascending or descending, right? So that is what they are mentioning here. After sorting the category on ascending order, next you have to sort the price by descending order. So now I'll put comma, the column name price, it should be in descending, so DESC. And now if I run this, can you see? Category also is sorted, but the price is also sorted by descending. So 4,000 comes first, 1,000 comes first. Here 17,000, 15,000, 10,000, 10,000, only then 10,000. Under fashion also it is getting grouped. 10,000, 7,000, 6,000, 2,000. So from highest to lowest it is coming for price after the category is sorted. So this is how you will sort the data for multiple columns. Now let's say you wanted to sort multiple columns, but you wanted to fetch only specific columns. You don't want it to have all the columns that is listed in the table. You want only specific columns, and there you wanted to sort multiple columns. Okay, in those cases, how we will do is the syntax is going to be select. Instead of star, we will go with column 1 comma column 2, like that. The column name we will mention here from the table name, and then comes the order by column name, whether ascending or descending, like that. Okay, so this is the syntax for that. What we have to do is sort product by product name in descending order. Product name should be in descending order and price in ascending order. Okay, this time we are going to sort the product name by descending, and then comes the price by ascending order. But here we have to fetch product name, category and price. They want only these 3 columns to be fetched. Okay, now let's do that. First select command, and then comes the column name. So product name they need, category they need, and then price they need. From which table? From product. And now we are going to use order by. And how we are going to order? First you have to order it by product name. Product name should be descending, followed by price should be ascending. Price should be ascending. So now let me run this alone. So in this case only these things, 3 columns alone is getting fetched. Okay, now I will filter, I will sort only the product column so that you will understand. So can you see? Now the product has been sorted in the descending order. So Z to A. So camera is at the end, TV it is at the starting. And then price should be ascending. So here you can see 10,000, 17,000, 10,000, and here 4,000, 2,000. Likewise in between it is getting mismatched, right? So now let's sort the price as well in ascending order. So price is in ascending order. First comes 10,000, next is 17,000. Top you have only one value, so that is alone there. Stove also only one value. Here dress comes. See, dress has the lowest as 6,000 and then 7,000. So only 2 things we have where the product name is coming twice. So that's the reason you have those 2 alone getting sorted by ascending order. That price alone is getting sorted by ascending order. Since we didn't categorize the since we didn't filter out the category remains the same. Only the product name and the price is getting sorted. Okay, this is all about order by class. We have successfully saw order by as well. Now let me quickly tell you what this distinct means. Okay, so distinct is nothing but it removes the duplicates. It removes the duplicate values. Okay, in a column there might be some repetitive values present. If we use distinct, then those repetitive data will get erased and only the unique value will be displayed. So each value will appear only once. Each unique value will appear only once. Okay, so in order to remove the duplicates, we will be using distinct function. So that syntax is going to be select distinct column, the column name from table name. Okay, so the column which you wanted to uh, column is nothing but the column in which you wanted to remove the duplicates. Okay, so that column name we have to mention followed by star from table name. Okay, so here they want which unique categories exist. So first I will select the entire table. So now they wanted to see what are the unique categories that exist in the table. Okay, so for that we will use select distinct, and then what they need, only the category they need. So category from the table name is product. See what happens. Under category we have electronics, fashion, book. These three things alone we have, so it requires only those unique categories alone. So that alone is getting reflected here. So select distinct category from products. So those unique category alone is getting reflected. That's the reason we use this function class called distinct, to remove the duplicates and to see only the unique value. Okay, now we saw for one column we saw how to remove the distinct. Now let's see combination of multiple columns, how we can do the same with the combination of multiple columns. Okay, for that the syntax is again select distinct column 1 comma column 2 from table name. So we have to specify both the columns, multiple columns we need, right? So both the columns we will specify in this case, and from the table name. I'll open the new entire table. So now here what we wanted is what are the unique product names and category combinations. So they want unique for both the columns, combination of both the columns. They wanted the combination of product as well as category together. They want the unique details. Okay, so we will select, in this we will do select distinct product name comma category from product. Okay, so in this what will happen is it will display only the product name and category, and it will search the unique value for both this category. Only if two rows has the same value in both this column, those things alone will get removed. Rest of all will remain the same. For instance, here even though these two things comes under the category electronics, but the product name is different. One is earphone and the one is camera. So this is not unique, right? Because even though the category is same, the product name is different, so it will take those two values itself. But in this case, TV electronics and TV electronics, both the row have the same value under both the columns. TV, here also electronics, both has uh, same data, right? Both has the same value under both the columns. So in this case alone, only one, it will remove the duplicates. Okay, here only one data will get reflected, but in other scenarios, like even though fashion both are same, but the product name is different, top and dress, those are different. But here can you see dress fashion and here dress fashion, both the columns have the same value in both the rows. So these things alone will get removed. Dress fashion will get removed, and TV electronics, for that also only one value will get reflected. It will remove the duplicate. Okay, now let's see. See, TV electronics has come only once, and dress and fashion also came only once. Rest of all remain the same because the product name is different. So this is how we will use the distinct function. Okay. go to the last clause, which is called as limit. This is to restrict the number of rows. Okay, restrict number of rows in the column. So this will restrict the number of rows. That is nothing but in a table we will have hundreds of rows. But let's say you don't want to pull all the rows. You want only 5 rows or 10 rows to be displayed. In those cases, you can use this clause called limit, which restricts the number of rows that you have specified. Okay. So for that, the syntax is going to be select star from table name limit, and then comes the number. So how many rows you want, that you can limit. Okay. So now in this example, we wanted to list only the top 3 rows in the product table. So here we will tell select star from product, and the limit is, since we know we need only 3, I'm putting the number as 3. So now if I run it, our table had 11 rows, right? Since we have limited to 3 rows, only 3 rows is getting listed here. This is how we will use limit function. This is to restrict the number of rows that is getting displayed. And we can also use limit with along with the var condition. Okay, so we can use both var and limit together as well. So in this, the example is show 2 products with price greater than or equal to 5,000. So first let me show you the whole table. In this, they want their first condition should be the price should be greater than or equal to 5,000. So only the price which is greater than or equal to 5,000 should be listed. So here what we will do is first select star from product. Now we will type the var condition. Price is what needs to be, right? Now we are going to add the condition var should be greater than or equal to 5,000. Okay. So I will run this alone so that you will see how the results are. Can you see more? Whatever the products that are more than 5,000 rupees is getting, wherever the product is wherever the product's price is more than 5,000, that alone is getting listed. So now what we have to do, we have to limit only by 2 rows, right? So only this dress and camera and dress alone will get listed. So now I'll type limit 2 followed by semicolon. Now see what happens. So only the top 2 alone is getting reflected. Other rows are all vanished. They are getting removed. Okay, this is how we will use limit with var condition. Okay. Now the next thing is here we are going to use limit with order by. Okay, we are going to use both order by and limit, and also we are not going to display all the columns. We are going to specifically choose what columns we need. So that's the reason we have column 1 and column 2. So the syntax is select column 1 comma column 2 from table name order by, and then what column we are going to sort, ascending or descending, and next comes the limit. Okay, now we are going to do this for which are the top 4 expensive products. Okay, so now we are going to select, first we are going to do product name, let's do price, and then stock. These are the 3 columns which we need, so we specified that from the table name called column product, and then we are going to order by, what we are going to order the top 4 expensive products, which means the price should be from highest to the lowest, because expensive is what they need, correct? So the highest highest price should be on the top and followed by the lowest, right? So we are going to order by price and it should be in descending order. So now if I run this alone, can you see the topmost highest price is 17,000, camera 15,000. Likewise, all these things are um, TV is the topmost is TV is 17,000, camera is 15,000. So likewise, the top highest is getting listed at the first and the lowest is coming at the bottom, right? So this is how it is, and now we are going to add the limit. So how much should be the limit? We want only the top 4, so the limit should be 4. Now can you see only the top 4 highest price is getting displayed? So this is how we will use limit and order by to sort and to display only the number of rows that is required. So this is how we will use the limit function. So now we have saw everything about DQL command. We have learned about select and all the different clause that comes under this. I hope you understood everything. If you have any doubts, drop a comment in this comment section below. And in the next video, we are going to talk about DML command, data manipulation language. Stay tuned for the next video. Until then, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.